Hello guys, and welcome back to my mommy channel, where today we're going to be having a little chat about things that I am going to be doing differently with baby number 2. This was a topic that you guys have requested, so I just wanted to sit down today, go through my little list here because a lot of things came to mind. If you are new here to this channel, please take a minute and subscribe. This is a brand new channel where I talk about all things motherhood and pregnancy related. And let's just get right into it, and we're going to start with pregnancy because there are some things I'm doing different in my pregnancy. First and foremost, okay, I am enjoying pregnancy more. When I was pregnant with Carter, I thought it was so difficult, so uncomfortable. I was complaining constantly about being pregnant, and don't get me wrong, I mean, pregnancy is difficult, but I now know it is nothing compared to actually having the baby. Like, the baby is the hard part. She's just in here. I can do what I want. I have my free time. I can sleep. Once the baby gets here, all bets are off. And Carter had colic. I had very serious breastfeeding issues. I mean, my life was turned upside down. If I only would have known to enjoy and embrace that time before baby comes and really make the most of it. The other thing, just a small thing, with Carter, I had 0 caffeine my entire pregnancy because I read somewhere that it wasn't recommended. I was a bit over the top, okay? It is fine to have caffeine. They say up to 200 milligrams a day. I'm pretty sensitive to caffeine, so I'm only having about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup a day. But mama needs her caffeine. And the last thing for the pregnancy portion is I'm going to have a lot less fear of labor. I spent so much of my pregnancy consumed by this overwhelming fear of giving birth. I hired a doula, which ended up being the biggest disaster. I have to do a whole story time video on this. You guys will not believe what happened with my doula. And here's the thing, okay? I ended up having a really awful, really traumatic birth experience. I have a video, my birth story, if you want to watch it. I don't recommend it actually because it was very bad. Even in the situation of someone like me who had a horrible birth experience, what I learned is that it's 1 or 2 days of your life. As long as you get the epidural, I mean, all of this painful, traumatic stuff is happening, but I didn't feel it. I didn't quite get the grasp, but when you have that epidural, like, you're not really feeling anything at all, like not even a little bit. So at least you can't feel it. But at the end of the day, you get the most beautiful, amazing, indescribable gift of your life. So if you're going to go through something, even if it ends up being horrible, you get this beautiful gift at the end that so far outweighs, so far eclipses any of the negative that it's just not worth your time stressing about. Next is a very practical thing for when baby comes. I don't need to have everything before baby gets here. I was always so stressed, like, I need all of these things, and what if I forget something? Do I have everything I need? I need all of these clothes for baby. Well, no, you don't. You really need very little. You need a lot less than you think. And you have a much better idea of what you actually need when the baby arrives. When I was nursing, I would be on Amazon buying stuff. It comes within a couple days. So don't stress, don't worry. You don't have to have every possible thing in the world that a baby needs before they're born. Specifically, okay, I have a specific one. Clothes. You don't need enough clothes for 1-2 years of baby's life. And not only that, I wasted so much money because the types of clothes that I bought that I thought he would wear didn't end up being what he actually wore. I don't want to put anything over his head. He has a little delicate, sensitive head. The buttons were hard to unbutton and rebutton on those onesies. So I'm team zipper. Team zipper, team Velcro, team magnets. But no buttons. Huge thing that I'm going to be doing differently. This might even be number 1, okay? And that is getting a lactation consultant. I may have to do a video at some point all about my breastfeeding journey. I ended up breastfeeding Carter for 18 months, which is actually insane considering how difficult it was getting started. I almost gave up at least 25 times. I didn't even know what a lactation consultant was, let alone scheduling a visit with one. I saw 7 different ones until I found one who actually was able to figure out the issues that we were having. So you better believe I have the woman's name, Grace, going to pre-schedule that appointment. And also, when Carter is born, I'm going to have them check for a lip tie and a tongue tie because they didn't do that when he was born, and I ended up finding out a week or 2 later I had to pay for it out of pocket because I needed it done immediately, and my insurance, it would have taken weeks. Now, related to that, I'm going to put less pressure on myself to breastfeed this time around because part of the reason it was also stressful is I was so convinced I had to breastfeed for as long as possible. I'm not stressing about it this time. If it works out, I know what to do, and I hope it does work out. But if baby needs formula, if she needs to supplement with formula, if breastfeeding doesn't work out, that's okay. And I need to stop putting this pressure on myself. Another huge thing I'm going to be doing differently is having more help. I am the biggest control freak. I don't know if you know this about me. I am a level 10 out of 10 control freak. I like to do it all myself, even with like my YouTube channel, my videos. I've done everything myself for over 5 years because I just cannot accept help. It took like things falling apart for me to even now have a sitter for 3 hours a day, which I currently don't have, but up until the coronavirus pandemic, just even accepting that minimal amount of help was so hard for me. Not this time, folks. I am going into baby number 2 knowing that this could and very well may be difficult. I get easily overwhelmed. Carter was the most difficult, challenging newborn with colic. So I'm expecting, things could be like that again. And I can't do it on my own, especially with a toddler now that I have to take care of as well as a newborn. So Ryan's gonna be here. He'll be able to help with baby and with Carter. I'm gonna have my mom over more, and I will probably try to expand the hours of my sitter. I've been heavily debating if I want to put Carter in a preschool program for the fall, but I just don't feel comfortable with everything that's going on with the coronavirus. That's just gonna cause me more anxiety having him there and possibly getting sick, bringing that back to me and the newborn. So I'm gonna hold off on that probably to the spring or even the following year. I don't know. Next thing I will be doing differently is I'm going to start sleep training at a younger age, probably closer to 5 to 6 months. With Carter, I waited till 8 months. You can hear my whole story about sleep training, what I did, how I did it. It was the video I did last week. But little did I know how much that would change my life. He starts sleeping through the night, taking regularly scheduled naps. I got my life back. That changed my life, and it wasn't even something I was planning to do, but I am so glad that I did. And the last thing, at least for this video, that I can think of that I'm going to be doing differently is I'm going to put more emphasis on promoting independence. My biggest issue that I still have with Carter to this day is that he requires and needs a lot of attention, a lot of interaction at all times. And it's my fault because I just had it in my head. I wanted to be so involved, so engaged with him, interacting with him constantly and talking to him constantly because it's so good for their brain development. But I overdid it to the point where he relies on me and other adults for entertainment, for stimulation, for conversation. I never just gave him that time and space to explore on his own and to not be interacting, that he learned that skill of being independent, because it is a skill. It is something that you have to cultivate. And with Carter, I'm trying now, but it's a little bit too little too late. He'll play independently for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But I see my other friends, their kids, they could just be off, playing with their toys, using their imagination, playing with other kids for long periods of time. And Carter is just not that way. And I do kind of blame myself. Again, it was coming from a good place. I just kind of overdid it. And now I'm feeling the effects with a 3-year-old who needs me constantly. That is probably what I'm the most concerned about with baby number 2, is how is he going to handle it not having all of my attention at all times. Because with this quarantine, he's getting more attention than ever. He's either with me or Ryan, constantly getting so much attention. He is soaking it up and he's loving every second of it. Things are changing. I'm gonna have a baby attached to me and I can't even physically get up. So we're working on it, but it is kind of a hard skill to teach in retrospect. So yeah, those are kind of the big things that I think I'm going to be doing differently the next time around. I probably could also do a video of the things I will be doing the same, the things that I think worked out best, because there's a lot of things I did right, there's a lot of things I did wrong. I'm sure there's a lot more I just couldn't think of off the top of my head. But for now, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you found this interesting, especially if you are a first-time mom. But if you have multiple kids, let me know in the comments what are the things you did differently or are planning on doing differently with future children. I'm very curious to read. Thank you guys so much for watching and for supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. Again, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon with a new one. Bye.